Basketball talk like you've never heard before. It's time for the most exciting basketball podcast, starring NBA great Damon Jones and Jake from Jake's Takes. Get ready for Ballin' Out with Jake and Damon.
Welcome back to another edition of Ballin' Out. I'm Jake and I want to introduce my co-host, NBA great Damon Jones. What's up, Damon?
What's going on, Jake? Another episode of Ballin' Out with you, my friend, and we have a jam-packed show for everyone to see.
By the way, today's a really exciting show, and I know you've been all to the Clippers-Mavericks game so far. I want to talk to you about that, but today we're lucky to have two guests join us on Ballin' Out. There's a fabulous NBA podcast from New York City. It's called Volume Shooters. It's a super entertaining podcast, and it's my absolute honor to welcome the hosts of Volume Shooters, Mitch and Stan. What's up, Mitch and Stan? How's it going?
Come on, Jake. Thanks for having us. Honored to be a part of Ballin' Out.
I see you're using that now. I knew it would be catching on. So I heard you guys are Nets fans. Nets fan.
No, that's not correct. I am a Nets fan since birth. Kerry Kittles, Kenya Martin, Damon Jones played for the Nets. Yeah, and then obviously Jason Kidd and Richard Jefferson and Vince Carter. Those were the years that I was growing up. And now they moved. I happen to live in Brooklyn my whole life, so now the Nets are like in my backyard, which is something God did for me, and I thank him. And Stan and I have been best friends for about 20-something years, and we've been fighting because he's a diehard Boston Celtics fan.
Wow.
Wait, Mitch, you should get all your cheering now because you have about 5 or 6 games till the next exit.
Oh! Wow. I love it. I don't know. I mean, Milwaukee beat Miami by about 85 points a night in this series. So if the Nets aren't 85 points better than the Heat, they might be in trouble. But I think everybody's going to win in this series because it's going to be incredible basketball. NBA fans are going to love to hear Damon's thoughts, but talent against talent. And, I think we're going to see some beautiful basketball here.
Damon, what do you think about that series?
Man, I totally agree. I think this is going to be one of the best series throughout this whole playoffs. You have two teams that like to play fast, like to shoot the three-pointer. And, with Brooklyn scoring the way that they are, on the other side, Milwaukee has a plethora of defenders that they can throw at the big three. So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't have a prediction on the series right now. I have to at least see 1 or 2 games. But I'm looking forward to seeing it this Saturday.
And with Joel Embiid going down, which nobody wants to see, I just want everyone to stay healthy. I don't know if there's going to be any challenge out there for either of these teams in the East. And then like Stan is saying, really everybody looking at the Lakers in the West, although I know Damon's going to say the Clippers maybe.
Yes.
And,
what do you mean Clippers are out in a few games?
Yeah, right.
Well, we got a lot of NBA news to discuss, so let's get right at it. We're going to start today's show by looking around the league for some of the NBA headlines and stories to discuss. So let's start balling out by taking a tour around the NBA. Where young players are just taking over. They're making names for themselves. Ja, Luka, Tatum, and Trae Young, they have been making statements. If this is the league's future, it looks bright. What do you think, Damon?
Well, the league does look bright with these guys. They're playing tremendous basketball. Like you say, Ja Morant, even though they're down 3-1 in the series, he's played phenomenal basketball in these playoffs. Tatum, shorthanded without Jaylen Brown and Kemba Walker for a couple of games. He put up a 50-point scoring effort in a playoff game. And the league's bright, okay? Luka, your guy, Jake, he's doing okay.
That's all you got to say about him. That's all you got to say.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get out of this series.
That's disrespect.
We will see him next year, and hopefully he can carry the Mavs past the first round.
You
know what I say about like that type of commentary, which I think is spot on. The league's future is extremely bright. I say that sometimes in this hot take kind of sports, we're always looking at the young stars. What do you call a guy like Dame Lillard, who showed out last night in a way that, I don't know, if you're a basketball fan, you watch that game, your blood's got to be tingling in a certain way. Like, that man makes shots that they look impossible. The whole court knows who's shooting the ball. They're packing the court out there. He's just firing from everywhere, and Lillard doesn't miss. And what do we call Lillard? Is he a young guy? Oh, he seems pretty young to me.
Yeah, those guys are playing exceptionally well, and I think without Jamal Murray, if Denver is able to get out of this series and get on to the second round, it's going to show how valuable Jokic is to his basketball team and to the league. So it's important to continue to get better, continue to play at a high level, get your team out of the first round, Jake.
Yeah.
You got to get your team out of the first round, Jake.
Trae Young's about to do it. He's about to get his team out of the first round.
Yeah. But what about Luka, Jake?
Trae's also playing Julius Randle on the Knicks, while Luka's playing Kawhi, Paul George, and all these great players over there in L.A.
Yeah.
Jake, what are your thoughts on Damian Lillard? Did you watch any of that game last night? That was something special.
This guy can score at will. It's just, it was remarkable to watch. I can't even get over it. Okay, now let's go on to how injuries have been affecting these playoffs. AD and the Lakers have been struggling, and Embiid now in the Sixers. Luka even got hurt, and that's why they won. That's why the Clippers won Game 3. That's why.
Well, I'm going to say this. I've had several conversations with different guys about this topic, and the NBA is going to have to address going forward, how they're going to go into next season, because, the way that they had the bubble set up, the short rest, starting the season right back up a couple of months after the bubble, and not really giving these players enough time to heal, not enough time to rest, and then throwing a 72-game condensed season out there at these players. It's been tough. You've had a lot of superstars go down with injuries, and it's just not good for the product.
How much of these injuries do you think are related to that? I mean, I don't know about Jake, but Stan and I never played in the league, so we don't know what the rest, the recovery, and the rehab and the training. I mean, would you say that having a shortened break really does lead to injuries like this?
Oh, yes, it does, because you're not able, number one, after a grueling season, which you had time off because of the pandemic, but they condensed everything so tight in the bubble where teams were playing every other day for like 2 or 3 months to finally get a champion. And then you give the guys less than 60 days to get ready and prepare for another season. And it's tough on the body, because not only are you playing games, you're also traveling. You're not getting your proper rest. You're getting into cities late, waking up early the next morning for shoot around to get ready for a contest the next night. So it very well does contribute to injuries, not getting the proper rest and recovery and training.
Jake, doesn't it seem like Anthony Davis is always injured, or is it just me? I feel like every game he's going down.
Him and Kristaps Porzingis. Trading injuries. Not only if they can meet each other in the conference finals, because that will happen if the Lakers can get there.
No, listen, Dallas is done, Jake, and I love your enthusiasm for Luka and the Mavs. I think it's awesome, buddy, but they will not get out of this series.
Damon, how are the games, though? How are the games? I saw the seats there, insane.
Oh, man.
Are you in the building, Damon?
Yes, I was there for games 3 and 4 in Dallas, and man, it was awesome being back in the arena. The fans were, it was packed house. Man,
how did Mark Cuban treat you? Was he nice to you?
Well, Mark Cuban's always nice to me, but, because I was, with the Clippers, I didn't see Mark. Well, I saw him in passing, but I really didn't speak because he looked like he was perturbed after the loss.
He's the enemy.
Yeah, right now.
I can tell you in New York City right now with the Knicks having a home crowd, the energy has been crazy. The whole city's alive.
Watching it from TV, it's nothing like it. And playing in New York City in Madison Square Garden was, one of the highlights of my career. And every time we went there, it was so electric and, so much nostalgia, if I should say. And, just seeing those guys back in the building and Spike Lee doing his stuff on the sidelines. It was good to see.
I had an opportunity when they started to let just 2,000 fans into the arena. This is about a month ago. I had an opportunity to go to a game and sit next to Spike. Spike was on my left side, and there was nobody in the building. There's 2,000 people. So everyone heard Spike.
Yeah.
The refs heard him. The players heard him. And man, does he get up. He doesn't sit in his seat. He's yelling like Jake would be if Jake was next to Luka.
Yeah, or Chris Paul.
Okay, guys, now let's go to defense does matter. By the way, when I hear the word defense, first thing that comes to my mind, 2 words. Rudy Gobert. This guy's been shutting down the entire Grizzlies team. Even when Jaw has been taken by Rudy, it's been pretty crazy. He's gotten tons of blocks, and he is their defense. What do you guys think?
Well, I think Rudy probably, I think he'll finish second in Defensive Player of the Year. I think Ben Simmons should win it for the defense that he played all year long. Not taking nothing away from Rudy because he anchors that defense down there in Utah, and whoever they play going forward, if they're able to get through this Memphis series, he's going to have to continue to be a force in the paint defensively and rebounding. So I like what he's doing. Hopefully, if the Clippers are able to get there, I hope he takes a couple of games off.
I was going to say Clippers Jazz is next round if Jake doesn't get his way and the Clippers win.
Yeah.
Does Gobert play a lot of minutes and that kind of thing? Like, there's no center for the Clippers really for him to match up with.
Well, it is to start the Clippers like they started in games 1 and 2 against the Mavs. They started Zubac. So I think Serge Ibaka is out for the rest of the year with a back injury. Yeah, with a back injury. So you have Zubac, you have DeMarcus Cousins over there as well. So
Boogie! We love Boogie. We're big Boogie guys.
Yeah, Boogie Cousins. So it'll be interesting to see. Or, Ty Lue being the coach that he is, he might go small. Who knows?
Speaking of Boogie, I'd like to get Jake's take on this one. My favorite nickname in the league is the Stifle Tower, Rudy Gobert. Jake, what's your favorite? That's a great nickname. What's your favorite nickname in the league?
Oh, that's really tough.
I was going to say before, you guys said that name in vain. Don't mention the name Point God, Chris Paul, in vain. Chris Paul is
I think I would have gone with Point God, but Pascal Siakam, instead of Spicy P, give me Pricey P.
Yeah.
Damon,
no good P the last couple of years.
Damon, I looked up your basketball reference before we did this pod. You have 3 nicknames up here?
Yes.
Did you know that? What do you think your 3 nicknames are? Do you know them?
Basketball Jones.
Correct.
Man, I'm drawing a blank.
I got Basketball Jones. I got the Specialist.
Okay, yeah.
And Best Shooter in the World.
Yes.
How'd you get that nickname? Best Shooter in the world.
Who gave you that nickname? Who gave you that? There's only 2 possibilities. Either Jake gave you that nickname or your mama gave you that nickname.
No, I'm telling you, man. One thing that helped me get to 12 years in the NBA was undying confidence and Sometimes it was self-promoted. A lot of times it was self-promoted to, just gain an edge, being one of the best players in the world and, playing 12 years, I had to constantly change the way that I played. I came in the league as a defender, a guy that picked up full court and kind of caused havoc on the defensive end. And when the league changed around 2002, when it went more offensive, I had to adjust my game to be able to stay on the court and stay in the league and stay on teams. So I worked on my shooting and, the rest is history.
Yeah, 3-point shooting is the league now, right? If you can make threes, you can hang around for a long time.
Oh, man. I wish I was still in my 20s right now. I'd probably be making $20 million a year.
Damon,
Vince Carter just became a great grandfather. He's still making corner threes.
Yeah.
Damon, when we were in Miami, I saw you shoot some threes. You're a little rusty, but
yeah, it's okay, Jake. I mean, one thing about it.
Shoot about 20, you'll get into it. You got it.
Yeah, I took it easy on you guys because y'all my friends and everything. I didn't want to beat y'all too bad.
It's like riding a bike. You never forget it, man.
Never forget it.
Right now on Ballin' Out, it's time for our spotlight feature on one player in the NBA who's getting noticed and standing out with his exceptional play. It's time for Watching You. This week, we're focusing on Mavs superstar, Luka Doncic. Dave, I know you have a lot to say. Let's hear what you got to say, Dave.
Well, I'm going to say Luka started off the series very hot. He shot the ball very well. I think when the Clippers changed their defense and changed their lineup, he struggled a tad bit. Right now, he's dealing with a nerve injury in his neck that, who knows when it's going to come, when it's going to pop up or whatever. So, hopefully he continues to play well for his team, but not win this series. But, he's a star. He's a star in this league, and I'm going to give him his props. He's one of the upcoming guys in this league that's going to be a perennial all-star for a while coming.
See him winning an MVP down the road?
I don't see him winning the MVP, but
you're just giving no love to my man now, are you?
No, he's a perennial all-star. He's gonna make first team NBA several times probably, but until he can elevate his game to a point to where he can get his team out of the first round, then it's kind of hard to say MVP.
What do you think, Stan?
Well, I was going to say, Damon played on the 07 Cavs, right? And that team, no disrespect to your teammates, LeBron kind of dragged that team a little Luka-ish to all the way to the finals, right? So if I'm comparing Luka now to LeBron 07, right? You're saying LeBron got his team all the way to the finals with not the best supporting cast in the world, right? So that's kind of what we got to hold Luka to.
You have the best shooter in the world. That's true. David Joseph, the best shooter in the world.
Yes. I mean, and you know what? No disrespect taken. We didn't have the best roster, but we had the best team, and we all played well together. We understood our roles, and we did whatever we had to do to assist the king in packing us to the finals, and it was okay.
Yeah, you beat a great team, right? The Pistons were a great team.
Yes, they were. And we ran into a buzzsaw in San Antonio, and, it is what it is.
My Nets ran into both of those buzzsaws. We ran into Ben Wallace, Rip Hamilton, and those Pistons, and we ran into Tim Duncan and David Robinson and the Spurs. So I don't know if David Robinson was around anymore. No, he wasn't. The Knicks ran into David Robinson and Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
The Nets ran into Timmy, Duncan, Manu, and Tony Parker. That's what we ran. Yeah.
Okay,
Jake,
guys.
Why are you wearing a Heat hat, though?
It's a nice hat. Come on, it's a nice hat. It's a nice hat.
I don't know about that, man. I wouldn't be wearing that hat after what happened to them in the Milwaukee series. Not a great series for Miami.
It was a great series for Milwaukee, and I can't wait to see Milwaukee do the exact same thing to Brooklyn.
I don't know why you got to hate on the Nets.
Everybody hates the Nets, man.
Jake, why you got to hate on the Nets? What did James Harden do? Do you not like beards?
No, it's actually that my brother likes James Harden, so I got to hate him.
That makes sense. That makes sense. What about Tim? What about KD?
KD, I mean, like this. I don't call him a snake, but you can't just.
Whoa.
I said I'm not. But you can't just go from amazing OKC Thunder team to the 73-9 Warriors.
Yeah.
Some people don't forgive him for that. You know.
I forgive him, but like.
Damon, you coached against that team, right? The 17 Warriors?
Yeah.
So who's a better offensive team, 21 Nets or 17 Warriors?
Man, probably 21 Nets.
Wow.
21 Nets because Steph Curry and KD could get it off the bounce. Klay Thompson is more of a shooter off screens. He could put it down one or two dribbles. But all three of those guys in Brooklyn can put it on the floor multiple times and get whatever they want. Can get to the basket.
You know who agrees with you on that take? Draymond Green. I don't know if you saw last night. Was on TNT. And he was saying, I'm a Nets fan, so obviously I'm going to agree. But he was saying, you take these three guys, you forget they got a whole team of other guys. Joe Harris had been the best three-point shooter in the league for the last 3 years.
Yeah,
and he's standing out there by himself because
he's waving for the ball.
You got to guard Harden, Irving, and Durant. He's leaving the best three-point shooter in the game all by himself.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, how do you coach against the 17 Warriors, Damon? What do you do?
Man,
right?
Well, the year before we won. So, man, them getting KD. When it was Steph and Klay, you could take one of them away, but when they got Kevin, it made it tough. You had to try to take the hottest guy away and live with the results of the other guys, and it was just too much. We had our chances in some games, but eventually their talent won out.
Everyone loves a good old-fashioned passionate debate. So now on Ballin' Out, it's time to duke it out. Today's question is, who's the most exciting player to watch in the NBA? Damon, you go first.
Wow, the most exciting player to watch. I'm going to always go LeBron James because, what he's done for 17 years in the league. You think, you've seen it all, but every year he gives you something different, right? And just like last year, he led the league in assists, being the point guard. And now this year, he's taken a backseat to AD a little bit, but, I'm looking forward to what he's going to do tomorrow night. I'm so excited because I always tell people this every single time when they ask me when the Lakers and LeBron get into a compromising position. I said, as long as you have LeBron James on your team, you have a chance to win. And that's all that matters. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do tomorrow night. I think he's going to give you something very, very special and tie that series up and try to get it back to Phoenix.
Wow. Mitch, what do you say?
I mean, like we were saying before, it feels wrong for me to choose just one. I mean, you got Steph Curry out there doing what he does, Dame Lillard doing what he does, even LaMelo Ball this year. You got people doing crazy stuff out there. The talent is off the charts. Yeah, LaMelo Ball, honorable mention. But you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say Nikola Jokic. You see a guy that big and that unathletic doing the types of things that this guy does, and it's every time I watch him, I'm stunned by how good he is. Like, the vision. He made a pass last night after Lillard had knocked down 10 of the most incredible threes I've ever seen. Jokic won the game, and this is just for basketball junkies. It's not for people that like the three or the dunks. Jokic is passing. He's a 7-foot big man. He made the game-winning pass last night out of the post. He looped it right over Covington's hands, perfectly in the corner for Porter Jr. Yeah. It's like a real basketball fan's treat to watch Nikola Jokic. So it's crazy, man. I can't get over that guy. He's crazy.
What do you say, Stan?
I was going to go with Jokic too, actually, but I'll say Steph Curry. For some reason, Steph Curry makes shots every night from 40 feet away. Every time they go in, I still get really excited. I still like, oh, another one. There's something about watching him play that I'll never get bored by. Something about his ability to score from anywhere and shoot from further and further back on a night-to-night basis. It was a 3-week run this year where he was scoring like 45 a game or 40 a game. I don't know. I'm partial to Steph. He's always my most exciting player.
That's reasonable. I'm going to go with Ja Morant. He's so flashy. The guy is flashy, stunning passes. He has the craziest hops I've ever seen.
Ja Morant to me is like a young Russell Westbrook because, I mean, not even that Russ is old. Like, Russ is still doing those things, still running full court with that hammer dunk at the end. But Ja's the new Russ.
Damon, let me ask you something about LeBron, because you said that you still think LeBron can amp it up to the level of the GOAT. And I personally think he's the best player ever at this point. Mm-hmm. I watched the game 4 and game 5. He looked like he wasn't giving max effort. Am I misreading this?
Well, I think because most times he's in his facilitator role, where he's trying to get a lot of guys involved because he knows at the end of the day, with AD not being there or AD being injured, he needs other guys to come along to get the things done. So what he does is, he passes, try to get other people involved, trying to get those guys a rhythm. And then because he knows he's able to take over at any point in time. So it's not that, he's not into the game or whatever. He's just positioning his teammates to be able to help for the stretch run.
So I guess he knew that last night wasn't going to happen with no Davis.
Well, no, I think he went in with every intention that they could compete. But once, Phoenix jumped on them the way that they did, and then there was no answer from anybody. I mean, you had 2 starters who had 0 points in the game.
I know.
And, I don't care who you are. I mean, you could be 2 LeBron James in one body, or you could be Michael Jordan and LeBron James together. If you don't have any help and you're going against a good team like Phoenix, you're going to have nights like that.
So Damon, you think the Lakers are doomed without AD? Or do you think they still have a big shot? I mean, they looked awful in Game 6.
Yeah, they looked awful in Game 5, Jake. But like I said before, as long as you have LeBron James, you have a chance. And I've seen LeBron do it on every level possible. Regular season, playoffs, conference finals, NBA finals. I mean, he just does it every single time. Whenever anybody counts him out, he always comes up with a big performance. So,
but you know what? In this conversation, let's give some credit also to who they're playing against. I love what Phoenix is doing. People coming in knew Phoenix was good. Phoenix had an excellent regular season, but people were like, yeah, but the Lakers are the Lakers. And yeah, Davis getting hurt, but Devin Booker stepping up, showing people he's not just a regular season scorer. DeAndre Ayton looking great. And then, of course, the point guard, Chris Paul, the ageless. I don't know how old Chris Paul is with a shoulder strain. My Nets had Darren Williams a million years ago. People were saying, who's the best point guard in the NBA? Is it Darren Williams or Chris Paul? That was so long ago. Chris Paul, he's still here. He's still here.
Yeah, still doing it. And you're exactly right. You can't discredit what Phoenix is doing. It's not all of LA's injuries and mishaps as far as players not showing up. Phoenix has something to do with that, and those guys are playing really well. Monty Williams has changed the culture in Phoenix, and it's exciting to see it. I'm happy for all the guys that are involved.
They're actually a really fun team to watch. They're exciting. I mean, like, it's crazy. By the way, Damon, you're best friends with Chris, so that's pretty special.
You gotta get the State Farm commercials, Damon.
Yeah, I wish he would put me in.
Yeah, like Chris Paul's hogging all the attention there. He's got Uncle Cliff. We all know that's just Chris Paul times 2. Why do you let
Damon Jones?
Uncle Damon?
Yeah.
Chris from State Farm. There can only be one Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to Chris since the series started?
No, not really. I've been traveling, and those guys are doing their thing. He's rehabbing around the clock, getting ready for each and every game that he plays. So I'll get in touch with him once the season ends.
Mitch, Stan, anything else you want to say to Damon?
I have a bunch of questions, Damon. If you got 5 minutes, some fire away over here.
I'm listening.
Who's the best player you play with not named LeBron?
Shaquille O'Neal.
Ooh, okay. That's a good one. That's okay. Who's the hardest guy to guard you ever played? You guarded Kobe, you guarded LeBron at some points, D Wade, somebody else? Or one of those three?
Allen Iverson was the hardest guy I ever had to guard.
Wow.
Why? You just couldn't stay in front of him?
No, because he had the ultimate green light. And anytime you have a guy on the basketball floor that's able to do whatever he wants to do when he wants to do it, you never know what he's going to do. He's a wild card. So, and plus he's pound for pound, most talented guy in NBA history, in my opinion. And his heart is so big, and he goes out and gives it 110% every single night. And it was a tough cover.
What was Vancouver like as an NBA city? I saw you playing for the Grizzlies. I'm like, I wish Vancouver got screwed. They only had 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah. I actually played the last year in Vancouver before they moved to Memphis. And
Brian Big Country Reeves and Mike Bibby.
Yes.
The OGs in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Which is Jake's country.
Yeah. It was okay. It was okay because it was an NBA city. But if the team was still there, I would go elsewhere.
That's what I thought you would say.
Well, this has been an awesome episode of Ballin' Out. Special thanks to Mitch and Stan from the podcast Volume Shooters for joining us. Wishing you all a fabulous week, and see you next time on. Say it with me, guys. Ball.